Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. The Bachelor franchise has finally become meaningless for fans. The candidates appear to be motivated solely by fame and money. This has gotten more clear along the course of the show. However, with the current changes to Bachelor in Paradise, it is more clear than ever before. Fans are upset about this and have expressed their feelings. Continue watching to learn more about this issue. Bachelor in Paradise is a popular show in which past competitors from The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, and now The Golden Bachelor and The Golden Bachelorette attempt to find love one last time. It allows them to test connections with multiple people, just as they do on other shows. However, they recently made a significant change. They declared that they would not be bringing in any more participants. The current contenders were going to focus on the contacts they had made. It was subsequently stated that the winner will get $500,000. However, this did not sit well with supporters, who were generally unhappy with the news. People will go on those shows with the objective of making it to paradise rather than to the end. And at $500K, I can't blame them. That is really too much money to offer. It is ludicrous. Yeah. They don't care that folks aren't looking for love. Even before the money, many were clear about wanting only a rose. People used to be ashamed and attempt to hide it, but now the first thing they say is, we have to get to know each other for money. Not for love. They needed to rebrand, but this is not it. Nobody is delighted about the current developments on Bachelor in Paradise. However, this will most likely not deter the franchise from doing it again. Fans appear to have had their fill of the franchise, since anyone who visits no longer seeks romance. Now they believe competitors are only on the show to advance to Bachelor in Paradise. They are now solely focused on their connections, and the winner receives $500,000. It has already been said that the majority of the contestants only want fame and to get their names out there. This simply made the situation more evident to everyone. What are your thoughts? Do you believe it's meaningless now? Comment below. We'd love to hear your comments on this. It was a franchise once synonymous with heart-thumping romance, extravagant dates, teary-eyed confessions, and the hope of finding a lifelong partner. But now, 2 decades and countless spin-offs later, The Bachelor has morphed into a circus of influencer ambition, algorithmic matchmaking, and a $500,000 incentive that has all but obliterated its original purpose. Fans had whispered their concerns for years, but the current season of Bachelor in Paradise, with its shocking cash prize twist and dramatic halt to new arrivals, served as the final nail in the coffin for many loyal viewers. They're not even pretending anymore, one disillusioned fan wrote on Reddit, her post gaining over 12,000 upvotes in under 24 hours. Love is no longer the goal. Survival is. Followers are. And now, $500,000 is. What was once a guilty pleasure for romance enthusiasts had been reduced to a fame factory, with contestants more focused on forming strategic alliances than heartfelt connections. Social media clout had long been a side perk of appearing on the show, but now, it was the central objective. And the new structure of Bachelor in Paradise only emphasized that. Historically, the beachside spin-off allowed fan favorites and notorious villains alike a second chance at love, usually in a less rigid and more playful environment than the flagship shows. But as the years went on, it became increasingly clear that many contestants didn't even try to win their respective seasons. Instead, they aimed to be memorable, iconic, or better yet, controversial enough to secure a ticket to paradise. There, the possibilities expanded, not just in terms of relationships, but in post-show branding deals, podcast appearances, and fashion line launches. So when producers announced this season that no new contestants would be arriving mid-season and that the couple deemed most compatible would win a $500,000 cash prize, the fandom exploded in frustration. They've turned Paradise into Survivor meets The Amazing Race, another fan tweeted. I didn't sign up to watch people strategize their way to a cash prize. I wanted messy love triangles, not merger negotiations. The backlash wasn't just online, it crept into podcast commentary, entertainment journalism, and even the very confessionals on the show, where former fan favorites now openly discuss their brand goals and audience engagement. The premiere of this controversial season had initially drawn record numbers. Fans were curious. What would a $500,000 prize do to a franchise already saturated with performance-based dating? The answer came swiftly: it would break it. From day one, contestants walked onto the beach not with hopeful eyes or flirtatious banter, but with spreadsheets, literal or metaphorical, outlining who had the biggest fan bases, who was most likely to make it to the end, and which pairings would garner the most airtime. By week 2, the cast had self-divided into alliances that seemed more fitting for a boardroom than a beach bonfire. People began coupling not based on attraction, but audience analytics. A few even compared follower counts before sharing their first kisses. It was absurd. And for many viewers, heartbreaking. "This isn't love," said a teary-eyed former fan in a viral TikTok rant. "This is content creation disguised as courtship. And we're the fools consuming it." Even the hosts seemed uneasy. Jesse Palmer, once the wide-eyed former Bachelor turned affable host, now sounded increasingly robotic in his deliveries. Behind the scenes, producers were reportedly ecstatic about the engagement numbers but privately admitted morale on set was different than in past seasons. Contestants asked fewer questions about dates and more about Instagram opportunities. They argued less about jealousy and more about who would get featured in the final montage. When longtime producer Kelly Madden gave an interview to Entertainment Weekly midway through the season, she framed the change as a natural evolution of the franchise. But fans weren't buying it. "Evolution?" one viewer commented. "Try devolution. We started with roses and ended with receipts." The perception that Bachelor in Paradise was no longer about love, barely even pretending to be, made it nearly impossible for old-school fans to watch without cynicism. Some contestants didn't even hide it anymore. One fan favorite from a previous Bachelorette season arrived on Paradise declaring, "I'm here for vibes, followers, and the funds." The line made it to the official trailer and was later used in promotional material, which only fueled the fire. "So they're bragging about it now?" a disappointed viewer posted on Instagram. "It used to be you were ashamed to admit that. Now it's your tagline?" But producers knew controversy drew viewers, even if it also pushed away purists. The duality of outrage and viewership was something the franchise had long danced with. In a strange way, the backlash became part of the brand. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe my channel and do not miss any update.